Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I'm in Cali every week. I go hard. Bro said he got sour, need that whole yard. I'm chasing turkey bag. You chasing gold yard. Tell us down, we won't go far. British service is the whole jar.
Well. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me clear the air in here. Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. You are also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com, New Haven Independent, or go to your Facebook page and look us up. And Kebra and Lou will also be streaming live on their Instagram pages. So you can catch them all.
One of them, yeah.
Well, they're trying right now.
We're sharing the live feed on Facebook.
All right.
We're saving
and I got Instagram.
We got Instagram up,
Yeah.
and I'm sharing the live feed for the New Haven Independent.
All right.
So remember, it really is awesome. Like it. See first. The whole thing will pop.
Yeah, because
right
there's
up.
a lot of good shows on here. Especially Harry the Brave has a great show.
Yes, tag me.
And-
So that
and-
because
I'm writing
Here
that
we
right
go.
now.
All right. So we've been off for a couple weeks.
oh my gosh, I missed you all.
I know. I miss
I
being on
missed
the
you
air. Miss
guys,
talking
too.
to our friends here.
Miss you like
Um,
crazy.
Few things have gone on in the last couple weeks. I don't know where you want to start, but I guess we might as well start with Elon Musk.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that we all got to chat about that a little bit. 'Cause
That
Elon
was fun.
it does
Yes.
not all have to do. It does have to do with cannabis in a way because, Elon Musk. We all know who he is. He's the, the CEO of SpaceX and the Tesla car company. I mean, he's like, considered a real genius in this era of innovation and technology. And he's also kind of eccentric, and he's been known to be outspoken. And so he went on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think it was on Friday afternoon. And, for all our listeners, I'm sure you all know who Joe Rogan is. Very popular podcaster, has all kinds of different guests on, talks about all kinds of controversial subjects. And one of the things Joe Rogan likes to do is loosen up his guests before they get on the air. So, or while they're on the air. So usually it lets them have a drink and sometimes, and I've seen him do it with other guests, he'll light up a blunt and smoke it during the podcast. And
Like
he
that.
always offers
Smoke
it to the
that.
guest.
Mm-hmm.
And whether they take it or not is up to them. I mean, I've seen guests turn it down too. So,
Which nobody minds, you take your.
yeah.
you
But
just gotta do
Elon
what you do.
Musk is a big time figure. Joe
Right.
Rogan usually has like pop culture people on,
Mhm.
B-level stars and things like this. But Elon Musk is, a really big name.
was a
He's
big
a
dog.
public company.
Yeah.
It's a billionaire.
So,
Tesla. We
they
like
have
that.
this
I want a
podcast.
Tesla. Elon Musk.
Right.
If you're out there,
we might have. We trade
I'd
you
be
100
happy to.
P's.
Yes,
Right, for a Tesla.
for a Tesla.
So, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the whole clip. I actually watched the whole podcast.
I did.
You
It was
did? Okay.
interesting.
Brilliant,
Yes.
right? Brilliant.
Yes.
And this is the point I'm going to bring up in a minute. So Elon Musk, somewhere in the middle, almost towards the end, he's been drinking the whole time. He's had a drink with Joe. They've been pouring the liquor, drinking. Somewhere towards the end of the podcast, Joe Rogan's, Elon's about to get into something deep, and Joe stops. He says, all right, before you get into that, I got to do something. So he lights up the blunt, and he starts smoking it, and he passes it to, to Elon, and Elon says, well, what is it? And he goes, oh, it's marijuana with tobacco. It was a blunt. You could obviously see it. And Elon looked at it, and he says, it's legal, right? And Joe says, yeah, it's legal. He says, okay.
Because where were they taping?
Cali.
Cali,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It's
So he
legal.
takes
just
a-
had- he made sure it was legal first.
Yeah.
Yeah. He takes a hit. And Joe goes, are you going to get in any trouble for this? He goes, oh, no, I'm not getting in trouble. Takes a hit, right? And he doesn't really inhale. I couldn't really tell, but he blew it right out. He took a fairly big hit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a whole.
It was
lot
a
of smoke.
big hit.
It was a smoke.
Yeah.
And, he was no
Smoke was
amateur. It's
thick.
not like he never done it before. And then he
his
passed it
stock
back to Joe.
instantly dropped 6%.
Right now, and here's
That is
my
terrible.
point.
That
Even
is
while he was on
terrible.
the podcast, if you notice, his phone was blowing up.
Ah.
He says, "Oh, my friends are telling me maybe I shouldn't have done that."
Well,
So-
this goes, Joe. This goes back to when he was talking about bringing SpaceX and everything public, and he was going to do shares for $4.20.
Right.
So
Right.
when that happened, his stocks dropped as well. And it's not necessarily they didn't confirm that he's a quote unquote pothead or somebody who's
No.
a heavy recreational user. It was the speculations that he just might use cannabis,
Right.
not even a full, and it still affected his business, and
Mhm.
that's
Oh.
that crazy mindset.
Yeah.
Well, this is what
Yeah.
I want to talk about, the mindset. Now, all of a sudden, after this interview comes out, his stocks dropped 9%, and
Mhm.
2 executives quit, and
Yep.
they cite that as the reason.
That's
Yep.
ridiculous.
For
That
no
is
reason.
absolutely
I think that's a
ridiculous.
stupid reason.
I mean,
I
and
know
if their
stupid isn't the
executives
greatest term.
left Tesla for
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
then
They guapping it.
they're stupid.
Yeah, they're stupid, right? The whole and but now the
But I
second
bet you
thing
they
I want to
get it in
bring up,
Xanax every day.
I know exactly.
or drink,
You don't
Yeah.
know how many times I remember going to like nurses meetings, like when
Mhm.
we would have like a monthly nursing meeting, and before the meeting we'd all be sitting around chatting, and like those women would be chatting about the pills they take, the
Oh, yeah.
Xanax they take, and these were home care nurses. They had to drive all day, so how you taking
Xanax and opioids,
It's
right?
prescribed.
opioids
It's
to
Or drink,
prescribed.
have a drink,
and
right?
yeah, and then you're going driving around seeing patients, but nobody. That wasn't taboo. But I bet you, if I said, "Yeah, well, when I get home, I'm gonna spark up my J and just relax," everybody would have. I would have been called in the office.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is why I don't work for people no more.
That's right, right. If we worked for people, just for being on this radio show, we could all be under scrutiny.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So my point with Elon Musk is the mainstream media picked this up right
Oh, yeah.
away
Oh yeah.
and crucified him for it. The podcast was 2.5 hours long, and let me tell you something. He spouted some knowledge.
There was some knowledge put on,
about
brother.
AI, about
Mhm.
all kinds of things. I mean, it was a deep conversation.
Mhm.
They did not mention one bit of what he said at all. All they focused on was the fact that he smoked weed on public and that his stocks went down and people quit. And oh my God, Elon Tesla's this bad guy now because he smoked weed on the air with
But
Joe
he
Rogan.
invented the Tesla.
Of course.
I mean, and then like, what is the problem
Those
with
fuel cells are-
consuming cannabis?
That-
right.
know, like,
it was
exactly.
legal.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like when people say
Mhm.
stuff to me, they're like, "Well, how do I explain this to my kid?" Or what? First of all, it's medicine. It's
That's
a plant.
it.
It's natural. It hasn't killed anyone. You know, people don't have to die to get it. Like, you
Nope.
know, it's
Yeah.
just all these different things that it's just like, why are you so fixated on the negativity related to propaganda that
Which is
was
already
associated
been-
with cannabis?
Right.
Even that propaganda was already proven false. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
craziest
Like,
thing.
right.
Like, we know
People
we did it
still
wrong.
ask about cannabis being a gateway
Oh,
drug.
I know. Can
I'm
you
like,
believe it?
How? No, it's not.
Nah.
The only way cannabis is a gateway drug is because you have to go behind a gate and
To
hide
get
to
it.
get it.
That's
You
it.
know, and then other things are back there behind that gate. But it's
Yeah.
not a gateway. We've already debunked this. Why are
I
we
mean,
still
it's
talking about
cra-
this
We're
stuff?
talking
And then
about
they make
studies that have already proven that alcohol is the gateway drug.
Well,
Right,
They've
exactly.
proven it.
Exactly.
Everybody starts. That's where a lot of people. It's sad, but yes, a lot of people start with alcohol.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah,
go
it
from
lowers
alcohol,
your inhibitions.
Your inhibitions get dropped, and now it's what's around you, what's being
Yes.
tossed in you.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
and I make those comments because I did grow up in New York and blah 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 blah. We all grew up in where we grew up, but
Mhm.
alcohol was super accessible.
I started with alcohol.
And and then you drinking, and then maybe you want to smoke a joint, or somebody's like, "Hey, smoke a joint,"
Right.
and then that's where your gateway, quote unquote, is. Now your inhibitions are lowered, and it's all on what company you have ultimately. Because if you're around people that are like, "Here, take this harder stuff,"
right.
then
Then you're going to take the harder stuff. It's the drinking that lowers the inhibition. If
Right.
there's no weed around and somebody offers you a line of Coke, You'll do that line of coke.
I have
I don't
made
know
that
about you.
decision.
But when they
No,
started
all right.
that
Well,
one, yeah.
I grew up in
You know.
the 70s and 80s, guys. It was a different life
Us
back
millennials
then.
really like our weed.
it was before New Jack City.
That's
Yeah.
right.
After New Jack City, none of us would touch a line of
Smart-
coke, crack,
smart
nothing.
people
like,
you
Jesus.
are.
Yes, no.
Smart people you are.
But they didn't have the visualization. You
No.
all didn't have the visualization.
Right, different generations.
Like we
Yeah.
knew what crack and cocaine.
Oh, yeah,
No, we
would do
just
to your
started
body
it.
with your-
Yeah, yeah.
You just was like, woo!
It's a party. It's a party.
Yeah.
And they're glorifying people like Boston George now. That's the crazy
I
thing
know.
because in 20 years ago,
They
would've-
glorified it back in the 70s and 80s, though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All your rock stars were smoking
Mhm.
and making no bones about it, right?
Mhm.
Scarface
Yeah.
was like people's
Mhm.
idol.
Mhm.
So,
to this day, I don't know
Miami
what college
Vice,
kid doesn't
right?
have a Scarface
Oh,
poster.
everybody wanted to be in the coke. Believe me, they
Mhm.
glamorized it, and they
Mhm.
just like to do with weed.
Well, now
Yeah.
cannabis is glorified in different angles, but
But it still seems to
it's
be
fun.
vilified.
it is
You
it
know,
is
I
vilified.
mean,
It
it's
is
still-
vilified, absolutely.
I've heard more negative talk about cannabis than I have about opioids, about cocaine, about like everything. It's
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. They talk pretty bad about heroin and
Who?
street crack and cocaine
I
when
swear I
when the
haven't had a
epidemics were
conversation.
happening.
Oh, when the epidemic.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
come
no,
on
it's
now.
no
when it
longer
came
that.
down to
Now
crack,
it's coming down. Now they just call it a pharmaceutical thing. You know, that rapper Mac Miller died.
or it's a healthcare crisis.
Yeah, he didn't
Healthcare
die
crisis.
from weed. Did he die
No,
from weed?
He
No.
didn't die from weed.
And he overdosed on something. And yeah, part of me, I don't know as much as some other people, and it might upset people. I didn't listen to his music necessarily.
No, I didn't
Not
even
me
know
either.
him.
But all I knew is that Burt Reynolds died, and that's somebody I knew.
I know.
You know,
Right.
and that got over flooded by everything else. And then
Yeah.
to see that it was because of an overdose from prescription pills, and
Mac Miller, yeah.
and that's rough. And you're like, and
Yeah.
you see all this now, public outcry of ending the stigma, ending the epidemic, ending this, ending that. But that's only
Well-
it's silly because
Rocks,
hor-
but they've been
how do
dying
I
for
say this
years like
politically
that.
without even getting in trouble. It's because of
Mhm.
I don't know how to say it politically.
What?
It's
no,
an
when
epidemic.
it was crack,
Yeah, okay.
and when it affected black and brown
There
people
you go.
primarily, it was
You're
it
going to
was
jail.
It was a
jail. It was a
problem.
criminal
Here,
problem.
you're right.
It was
There's the point.
that was-
Look how they handled Demi Lovato.
Right.
Oh, poor Demi Lovato. Blah, 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 right? She becomes like a hero for being a drug addict.
But how'd they do Whitney?
And where, as you
How'd
say,
they do Whitney?
how'd they do Whitney, right? and how'd they do anybody in the past?
Yeah.
Everybody was a demon. You know, you're a heroin addict, you're heroin. There's nothing good about you at all.
Yeah, and now they just call it opioid, and it's a
Yeah.
and that's what
pharmaceutical.
I'm saying. Like, still to this day, cannabis is treated the exact same,
Same way
like
as other
as
drugs.
a criminal, like we can't grow it because of course we'll divert it and sell
Oh.
it. We
Oh,
can't, you
evil
know,
people.
like it's all
It's evil people. The evil
Yeah.
people doing bad
Yeah.
things, killing the people with a plant. Stop!
Right.
You can't do that. That's a plant there.
That is the
That's a
point,
plant
Kebra.
there.
They still treat it as bad as heroin, as bad as cocaine, as
Right.
bad as crack, because it's all scheduled the same way. Why not? You know, all Schedule 1. So,
right. But when we're talking about heroin, methadone users, opioid users,
Yes.
it's a whole nother kind of
Yeah.
conversation.
Mhm.
yeah.
Even when it comes down to cannabis, I could sit and talk about the medicinal qualities of cannabis, all the things it does. I just posted something that
Alzheimer's, I saw it,
that
yep.
it reduces the protein that causes the plaque in the brain for
I love
people with
seeing that.
Alzheimer's. You know, I found another research bit of information about breast cancer in cannabis and
Mhm.
how it's proven to, because basically it starves the cells so they
Yeah.
don't get to grow. And so I could do all this talking and still Elon Musk will lose,
9% of his stock
9%
share.
of his
So
stock
$3 billion.
Cannabis.
Yeah, it's
something like
nothing.
that.
$3 billion.
Now's the time to buy Tesla stock.
I mean,
It's on sale.
hey,
And Nike.
Hey,
And
and
we
Nike.
don't even
It's
know
on
that. We
sale.
don't even want to.
Please.
But now here I saw
I'm
today,
wearing Nike.
their
I'm
sales
cool
are
with it.
actually up
I like
31%
Yep.
after
Well,
that.
I love
Yep.
the new
Up
Nike ads. I'm not even gonna
31%.
whatever anybody says. I love the new Nike campaign. I really do. It's
First of all-
empowering. It's
Yeah. I mean, this
really
whole
is.
thing
Michael
about
Phelps
Kaepernick
is a weed smoker. He was on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Nike's
No,
a
this
progressive
whole thing
company.
about Kaepernick kneeling is ridiculous.
Well, it
Like,
also goes
I
with,
just wanna. I just need to. We got it. No,
Yeah, we
need
shouldn't
to
even
talk
go
about
there.
It. No, we should go there.
But is it
'cause
about
this is
weed?
ridiculous.
I agree with you. I think it is the whole thing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But all of this has to do with social justice
Yeah.
and the way in which
Yes.
we interact with each other as human
Yeah,
beings.
this is it's
Like
gone
someone
too far.
Someone to.
No, someone says. Someone saying. Kebra.
Anyway, let me not get
Preach.
on
No,
this.
we
No,
it
but
is
it
something
is-
that needs to be discussed. And if you want to go into it, our guest is calling in a few minutes. But I totally agree with you. And
Yeah.
if you guys don't know,
Hit the
I'm
comment
old.
box. Cody's talking about it.
I'm
we got a couple
old.
people talking about it.
They never used to bring the teams out to the field. I used
Right.
to go see football and baseball games. The teams came out after the national anthem.
Right.
That was the policy. Then in 2009, the U.S. Army, the the Marines, all of them,
Gave a whole
paid-
bunch of money
paid the
to
NFL,
the NFL.
to bring the players out on the
Yeah.
field and make a big deal out of the national anthem. Why? For recruiting purposes. The numbers were
Yeah.
down in the Army because they just finished that war in
Mhm.
Iraq. And
It's
the
a
numbers
re-up
were
of
down.
patriotism. You
Right.
know, we know what it is, but it helps and it's bad and it's good and it's good and
But it's not
bad, but
necessary.
It's
If
I
it
was-
wasn't
I'd even point
necessary
out-
before,
so I'd even take this conversation to the next side of this because the next part of that ad campaign was the tennis one piece outfit that Serena wore,
Don't
right?
get me started.
Which-
Why they always bothering my Serena? Like, don't they know
yeah,
she
that's
from
a whole
Compton?
nother thing.
Like,
That's
I
a
just
whole
keep,
nother
I
thing.
keep
That's
saying
a-
to myself, Serena from Compton.
I can't
better
believe
stop
that
messing with
either.
her.
I mean, there's
Where-
some crazy
And she
stuff
wasn't the
going
first to wear one because it is a medical thing because that compression really does help as you're doing
Men
everything.
take off their shirts
You know
all
what I mean?
the time.
She was
And this
completely
is
clothed.
the part that people really don't understand. You know, a lot of times, a lot of people say, well, why is it always got to be a black and white thing? Or why is it always got to be about race? Because it's made to be. Like, every day I walk around in this skin, like, I can be treated differently just because of that. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't have
agree with you.
I don't have to open my mouth and say a word. Automatically, people make assumptions. Automatically, people make things 50 times harder for me.
My circle treats you different because we want you as a queen.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, some people recognize the greatness, but you know, like, and there's some times where that works for me. Like, I'm the only black woman in cannabis in Connecticut.
Getting it.
I'm working that thing.
Do better.
You know, I
I'm
mean,
riding
and
that train.
But I've always been proud of being black. That's
Yeah.
never been my problem. My problem is being treated differently. Like, the things that Serena Williams goes through as a professional tennis player who never cheats,
Yeah.
who always upholds the standard, who works her butt
She
off.
gets ridden.
She gets treated
Mhm.
so unfairly just because she's black and she's great. You
And
know,
proud
like,
of
if
it.
she was black and not
Yeah,
so
and
great, nobody would
assimilating.
care.
Now,
Yeah,
But
does
she's
Venus
not
have the same
assimilating.
problems?
I think Venus has less of a public
Mhm.
appeal
Yeah,
or
'cause you-
something. So,
yeah.
but it's like because she's held at such a high esteem and on such a pedestal by society at
Yeah.
large. It's like it's
It was just
constantly
easier
stuff
just to go the
bring
other
her
way.
down. You know, like
Yeah.
even with me with being in cannabis, knowing that, you know, I think I'm pretty, you know, I'm a little smart. You know, I can put some words together. Do
you're an
something.
intelligent woman.
However,
Exactly.
like, I knew for a fact that if I wanted to be in cannabis, I needed to have a certificate to say
Yep.
that I learned something. Just because I knew if it was
Mhm.
me and a person who wasn't of color, like going for the same kind of thing,
You
they would
needed
be
something
like,
to set
"Well,
you
what
apart.
you got?" Yeah, I needed
Yeah.
something to set
Yeah.
myself apart because as Black people, we have to prove ourselves and we have to go through things that no one else does. It's real. So, you know, that's why cannabis is so important to me
Yeah.
because I know what people have done under the guise or auspices of, you know, cannabis is wrong,
Mhm.
it's criminal, and they've thrown so many people that I know in jail, in prison, like across the country, you know, and not just Black people, not just brown people.
No, once
There
you
are
get in
people
jail,
who-
guess what?
Yeah.
You're on.
yeah, it's just crazy.
Oh, the caller is in. We can
Oh.
discuss this a little bit
We'll
after.
keep going. But
Let
let me. Hello.
Lou, Uncle Lou is going to do the intro here today.
Are we on the phone? Good to go. Ashley, are you
go.
there?
Okay.
Ashley.
Ashley!
All
Ashley
right.
is
Hey,
in
happy-
his house.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. On the fizzone.
Seattle.
Yeah. So let's give. We do a little background. Ashley, it's always great to hear from you, and I have your little bio here, and I'd love to read it off before we get started. So,
That'd be much appreciated.
And then we usually do a small anecdote about how we kind of met the person we're talking to. So, so Ashley Stallworth, he provides more than a decade of experience delivering for medical, recreational, and now commercial cannabis goods, products, and programs. He is engaged in the communities throughout the United States, making efforts to educate and get people ready to engage in the legal cannabis market. Noteworthy industry accomplishments are creating the first cannabis assessment application. You can get that on your phone. We'll go into that a little bit more. Author of the Rec Book. It's a coffee table book sharing the legal trends and more. He's author of Your Guide to Legal Cannabis. It's a course guide currently available on Amazon. Co-developer of the first commercial sublingual CBD pill. Co-developer of one of the first transdermal CBD patch applications. And creator of the first cannabis-specific cybersecurity measure. Thank you for joining us today, Ashley. Really appreciate you taking your time from the West Coast. So you're a different
Seattle.
You're a different time frame and everything. Cannabis Corners expanded itself to the West Coast, guys.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm crip walking. Okay.
So
absolutely, it's always 5 a.m. somewhere.
It's always 5 a.m. Right? So I met Ashley in college. We went to college together.
Oh, wow.
Ages ago.
So you actually were in this
Like
fair
y'all
state of
old.
Connecticut for a short period of time, Ashley?
It's true. I enjoyed the privilege of not being able to buy alcohol on Sundays.
Past 8 o'clock.
No use to
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of love for the area, but definitely some restrictions, and it definitely helped create a lot of interest in exploring what was the real restraints when it came to cannabis.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, true. You live in Connecticut, you find them out real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's why you went right back there.
So I was a freshman in college, and
Yeah.
Ashley was an upperclassman, and we had bonded over a joint. Realistically, sitting on the grassy knoll, going through the whole college thing, me overlooking life and kind of really going into my own mind, saying, what's going on here? It's my first time away from the big city. The suburbs are kind of scaring me a little bit. I don't know anybody. I don't know anything. And the young man came over. We finished sparking the doobie there on the grassy knoll overlooking the beautiful campus and, watching the sky go. And he was finished with it. He crumbled it up. We went out, and he goes, we give back to the earth as the earth gave back to us. Blessings on blessing. Let's keep it moving. I was an 18-year-old kid. And I said, wow, that's actually super profound. And it kind of stayed with me always, the respect for nature and the earth and, the symbiotic relationship between yourself and Mother Earth. And so, and 20 years later, you're
still friends.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. I don't think I know anybody I went to college with.
So thank you, Ashley. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on, sir.
Yeah, what's going on? I heard you're going to be out this way.
Oh, snap.
Absolutely. We can kick in with all of y'all. I'm really excited. I'm excited to share the good, and really thankful to be on the line with some of the best cannabis influencers in the industry right now. You three do more than your part, for the wave that is coming and the things that we currently have in play right now. So, it's awesome to be able to connect coast to coast, be able to mobilize, strategize, and with proper planning, the formidable front that's coming, right? We really have the chance to make impact. You guys are just outstanding. Huge fans of you guys. Try to share the good as much as we can out here in the West, knowing that the East Coast is really mobilizing, that they're really making great efforts, especially when they're dealing with formal processes that are much different than the West Coast. So,
Oh, yes.
I think that the more people understand that, the more empowered collectively people can, especially starting with the legislative processes.
Yeah, that is the difference. You guys out there in the West tend to have more referendum states than we do out here in the East. And the only states out here in the East who have legalized are the referendum states, other than Vermont, which made some history. But yeah, we're here in Connecticut waiting for that wave. We've been hanging out with our surfboards here, waiting for that wave to come to the West Coast, and it seems to be getting close. And yeah, and we're hoping to ride that same wave out here. But yeah, first thing we got to do is really advocate and change people's minds, I think, here on the East Coast first, and then change the laws, because the laws aren't going to change till their minds change, realistically.
Right. Yep.
So tell us a little about what you
which
got going on.
Oh, just a lot of formulations these days, trying to find the best ways and fastest ways to get cannabis to people who really, really need it. So we've been trying, with Present Naturals, our distribution arm, we've been working within the confines of the laws to be able to actually get cannabis out there. A large part of it is on education, getting people to realize that they can have it, right? That they can be a part of this, and they don't really have to be part of that social stigma, which leaves people kind of in that gray area, feeling scared to even participate, on a business ownership, on a leadership level, but also as a consumer. There's a lot of people out there who still kind of hide in the shadows. A lot of people who started in the medical and even on the black market who don't even have social media pages, because out of fear, what they've done in the past, and how it can impact the future. So, we work really hard with trying to partner and program with groups like that so that we can help them come out on the right side of history. Being able to have Present Naturals, being able to be a manufacturer and distributor of goods has really helped combine our journalism arm with the rec book to reinforce a lot of different things. And a lot of that, I always tend to circle back to education, being able to let people know where they're actually at, where it's going, and, really how much time we have to really get engaged. Because the larger groups are coming.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
They're making steps to really kind of take ownership. So it's so imperative right now.
So that would, I apologize. So that kind of goes into that custom strain matching application that we talked about a little earlier as well, right?
Absolutely. That has been a really big hit. I'm super thankful, to the GOD and then some. It's, going across America, one of the biggest challenges that I heard from people is they didn't really know what they were actually consuming, right? And there are people who would claim that they would have bad experiences, so they don't do that anymore, right? So they didn't ever really go back. So being able to identify that they didn't understand what indica was, they didn't understand what sativa was, they didn't understand what CBD or even hybrid, and how that can impact their bodies on an individual level, was a real big thing. So we managed efforts to put together an assessment that literally can tell you what would be your preferred choice or what likely works best for your body. And I'm really pleased. We have, over 10,000 global insights and we have accuracy of about 98.9%. And it's been really outstanding. And we look forward to really growing that more so that more people can use it.
What's the name of the app?
It's part of the rec book. It's called Cannabis Assessment.
Cannabis Assessment. And people can get that, download it now?
It'll be available at the end of next week on the Apple market as well as Android. Right now we have the web mobile app ready. If you go to our home site, therecbook.com, and you scroll down to the bottom, there's a tab that will direct you directly to the portal right now.
Well, the reason I'm asking them, obviously, is because I want to try it.
Yeah.
And I want our listeners to try it.
Honestly, we need to be, that's something I actually was looking. We got to talk about that because I want to have something to share with patients to be able
I think that's a great idea.
Help them find the right strains and not waste money. This is a very expensive process. So, you go to the dispensary and you're on a trial and error kind of thing until you find the right thing that works.
This is true.
You,
that would really help your industry. This make a business connection right here.
Bam.
And these assessments are
I think that's
company specific as well. So if you have something that you work within your own system, so if there was a dispensary like say Arrow or CPS or anybody who would do that, they'd be able to input their strain version of it in that back end.
Cool.
Because if you're local, you have to know what your local has.
Oh, where you can. Oh, so there's two sides to it.
It could, it can be everything.
I like that. Yeah. Not only what you need, but where you can get it.
Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah, and it really helps on the community front. Like I said, if you can get to know your producer, processor, as well as the store that can actually deliver what you actually need. Case point, what Kebra says, a lot of people don't have expendable income where they want to go and just blow a couple bucks on something that's not really for their body.
Right.
So especially for the states that are converting from medical to recreational, there's people out there that have very specific needs, right? So it's been one of our goals is to make sure that those people aren't lost in the sauce, so to speak.
Which is why we have been pushing for grow rights here too.
Yes.
Because once you do have a specific need and you find your strain, what we find out here at least is it's hard to get sometimes because we only have 4 producers in the whole state.
Yes.
Woo.
Sad.
Yes, it's
rough.
So now I wanted to also speak about your guide to legal cannabis, the course guide, because if I'm not wrong, we're going to start offering that class at our location here in New Haven. You were talking about that, right, sir?
Absolutely. Super thankful. I mean, like I said, you guys are sharing the good every day. So, as more groups are coming together, it's a great opportunity, especially for New Haven, being such a central hub, and, working with Canna Health, it's, we're really excited to be able to allow people to have a foundational knowledge of the industry, because the more we know about the history, the more opportunity it gives us to really move forward.
Right.
So we really want people to feel like that they know exactly what's going on, anywhere from the first medical clinic where it opened, where the first strains of cannabis even came from, what the legal rights are on a state-to-state level between medical and recreational, how to grow cannabis, what's important to know when you're making choices. There's a laundry list of things that people should take into account. So, thankfully, working with Lou, we've been able to put together something really, really great. And, there's been a lot of contributors. So this is not something that one person just does on their own, much like the industry, right? It takes
Huge
a team. It takes effort.
It takes a village.
To raise a bud.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Working with you has been awesome. We really appreciate you coming in, because every time you come down, you usually connect us all with somebody different, which is really interesting. Last time you came down for the Boston Freedom Rally, we met the gentleman who runs the Weed World trucks. They do the CBD lollipops. He has 17 trucks, and he was a Mexican gentleman from the West Coast, actually. So it was awesome to see another Latino in a high level in the recreational and legal cannabis world, and that was pretty awesome. This year,
tell us a little about that.
Yeah, who do you have coming with us this year?
So you're coming down, Ashley, for the Boston Freedom Rally this weekend as well, right?
Absolutely. And,
tell us a little about what you're bringing.
Shout out to Pat Marrero, big player, big influencer who's been doing it for a long time. Big hugs to him. He's battling some medical stuff right now, so I just wanted to give him a shout out and know that he's in my thoughts. And he should be out there as well. So this year we have Puff Cards coming, who is a unique gifter for the cannabis industry. Her name is Chelsea Butner. She managed to get patents on gift cards that have doob tubes on the inside of them. So basically
I've
gifting
seen her
joints,
stuff.
sharing the good.
I think
that's
Dr.
interesting. I can't wait to see that.
Holistic. Yes, I've seen it.
Excellent. What else you bringing?
Yeah, we also have Kingdom Coast, which is a skate and music company. They're a big influencer. They started on the art and textile world, and now they're investing in vape as well as educational programs for the 18 and up crowds, so that they can use responsibly. It's a great opportunity, and really, really, really excited to work with them. They've got their hands in a lot of different things, and once they saw the movement happening, they knew that they wanted to be a part. So, after conversations, we realized that we could find a medium ground and keep it moving. So they're really excited about being able to come to the East Coast and really share the good as well. I always say that again, because sharing the good is just one of the best things we get to do.
Right. That's all it's about, is giving back to the earth, man. Sharing the wealth.
And then, like with more companies like this thinking outside of the box, kind of normalizing cannabis, this is going to be, we're helping to make this, to reduce the stigma, make this more of a normal thing, And it's going to be, I can't wait to give somebody a car with a joint in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be nice. And I think this is going to be an interesting freedom rally this year. I know there's some good bands playing up there. It's actually 3 days this year. That's how popular it is.
Tons
since
of
it
music.
became legal. Remember, cannabis is legal in Massachusetts.
Woohoo! So that's
you never know what's going to happen up there at this freedom rally. I've been going for 5 years.
An ounce joint.
All right.
Those things get passed around easily up there.
It is.
And the police don't bother anybody.
Nope. We will be allowed to possess up to 10 ounces for personal use, as long as you're not selling it, which I promise you I ain't doing. I'm going to get it up there. I'm going to smoke it all. every single bit of it.
And he don't never charge me, so I won't be.
Yeah, Lou,
buying
you'll
it.
be at the Present Naturals
That's
booth.
right. I'm gonna stop by the Present Naturals booth, and I will smoke with you guys
So
because it
he's
is
giving
legal.
it away.
Oh
to
yeah,
me.
this is it. Listen, I
And
heard it
Joe.
grows on trees.
I know, right?
Well, I'll be there at the normal booth.
Yes.
So I'll be working it as well, at least for one day or two, probably 2 days.
Nice.
And then,
Yeah,
and
save-
I know you'll be
save
there.
that for me
Kebra,
on
you'll be
Sunday.
there.
Mm-hmm.
I come on Sunday. Yeah.
Ashley, you'll be there. So we'll all be up at the Freedom Rally this weekend. It's a big deal here on the East Coast.
Yep.
And you'll have a table, be selling your goods, educating the public. You'll
Yep.
bring the rec book with you, I assume.
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which really thankful for that. We realize the rec book has been able to touch grounds in states where there's no laws available, and it's been awesome for people to be able to show people that this is a real thing, that this is actually happening, that this can happen in your community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rec book
So-
actually is graces the coffee table.
Yes,
of
it
Canna House.
does.
Absolutely.
And people are always perusing and asking how they get their own. So tell us, how do we get
our
rec
own?
book?
Let's figure out how do we contact you, Ashley, besides coming to the Freedom Rally this weekend. Let's say somebody can't
Yeah,
make it, but they want to know what's up.
Absolutely. So they can go to our home site for the rec book, therecbook.com, or they can go on Amazon and find it as well. We also have been putting it up in a lot of recreational dispensaries on the West Coast, as well as smoke shops on the eastern border, as well as Freckled throughout the Midwest, which has been really, really, really interesting. It's been nice to get emails from people in Kansas and Wichita saying that I've never seen anything like this. Like, can I try that? And the goal has been able to even set up, programs where we can get these individuals from those states to come to our states, right? And really get them to kind of, on the whole tourist side and be able to let them be able to experience. So, there's multiple ways to be able to do it. We're even to the point where we're starting to place them in a lot of hotels, especially as the hotel and lounge
That's a
area
smart
Right with the
idea.
Bible?
moves up to speed. So
You gonna put it right with the
we're happy
Bible?
We're going to
to-
roll it in the Bible.
No, we're not gonna roll.
You
it.
ever heard of that? You
I
ever
heard
of that?
about it, but I don't wanna do that.
No.
Oh,
Don't
that's
get
an
me
old
started
school
on
thing.
Lightning. I just want the rec book next to the Bible. That's all.
That's all.
That's a great idea, Ashley, because we forget in Connecticut we complain because we think we're behind the times here, right? Those poor people in Idaho,
Oh,
Kansas,
man.
Yeah.
they don't even have medical programs. They're still throwing people in jail.
Yeah.
It's even hard to access out there.
Yeah.
So you're right, to give those people an opportunity to come to a legal state and really experience where they can be free to do this is kind of a good thing, because we all forget, we do live in a medical state, but there's only 26 states. So that still leaves another 24
Yep.
that aren't legal, that don't even have a medical program.
Yeah.
And that's a great idea, Ash. I think you'll go far with that.
So on top of
Appreciate it.
on top, I'm so happy you got to start touching on the medical tourism. Because I also noticed that you have a couple things in the works that hopefully to help aid the traveling patient.
Mm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is it? We waiting for a drum
pardon.
roll?
Oh yeah,
Pardon.
yeah.
I heard my phone cut out.
No, no
I
worries.
make Cardi B noise.
Yeah. So being able to have somebody be able to actually make it to physical location. Some people are a little landlocked out there, right? So they need people to be able to make it to them, right? Whether it's digitally online, interfacing Skype, or having a medical professional actually come to the location has really been a thing that we've been really trying to make initiatives for. We started a non-profit part of the arm to be able to fund it, so that we can actually, because it takes gas, it takes effort, right, to be able to get professionals to be able to move about, as well as get the service up and running. So it's something that we're really excited for. We've started an assistance program, for vets, as well as people who are in recovery, who are even just trying to get off of opiates. Our criteria for being able to qualify for that is very low. Thankfully, because we've been able to raise funds for that. Our goal is to be able to make sure that we can deliver something the fastest way possible, so people don't fall out. Right now, we're like, I was listening to you guys earlier, we really have an epidemic on our hands. There are people dropping, and it's taking celebrities to fall to the side before we actually acknowledge it,
Right.
But this is something that's continually been happening. So for us to be able to engage on that on the medical side while we're pioneering the recreational industry is something that I'm very proud of. And there's just so many contributors who have been carrying this flag long before us, and we get the opportunity to carry that torch now, much like the Olympics, when they pass that torch on, and we get to bring it up to the holy Calvary and say, this is a real thing. Let's light it up.
Right. Let's light it up.
And places like Boston, the Boston Freedom Rally, we can thank Question 4. We get to show that this is going to be a very real thing that people are going to be able to possess. They're going to be able to gift. I mean, that's a huge thing for the recreational industry, to be able to know that you can gift somebody cannabis and not have any repercussions. Yeah, I mean, that's unprecedented.
Overages are awesome. I guess one thing I'd like to say is that we've heard over and over education, access, and availability.
Yeah,
those are those 3 heavy-hitting topics for that medical recreational marketplace. If we continue to educate, we give good access, and we make sure that it's quality product available, we should have a healthy, viable marketplace.
Yep, it'll happen.
Joe, we have to pay the bills, though.
Oh, yes, we do. Ashley,
one moment, please, sir.
Yeah, well, probably should let you go. We only got a few minutes, so check out therecbook.com.
Where else can people like you, follow you, tweet you, at you, DM you?
Yeah, you can find me personally, one Inspired by Many on Instagram. We also have handles for the Rec Book at the Rec Book and also at Present Naturals Distributions. I'll also give a shout out to Kingdom Coast. You can find them at Kingdom Coast. Also Puff Cards at Puff Cards. And I just want to say that I love y'all and I appreciate you sharing the good. And not to touch too much on those other states that are still in the gray, but they need us more than ever. I've been there, and I tell you, it's scary. Because, when you have people who are living in constant paranoia just because they're trying to use something that can actually benefit them, it keeps me up at night. And I'm just really thankful to engage. So much love to y'all, and I look forward to seeing you in Boston.
See y'all this weekend.
Boston.
All right,
Thank
Ashley.
Thank you,
we
brother.
love you too.
Take care now.
Have a great day, sir.
Much love. Thanks, you too. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers. All right, you are listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com, New Haven Independent, or just go to your Facebook page and look us up. All right, that was nice to talk to Ashley.
That was awesome.
Looking forward to seeing him. He's got a lot of stuff going on. People should definitely check it out.
Ashley's the man.
There is something interesting that happened in Connecticut.
What was that?
The Connecticut court holds that refusing to hire medical marijuana user constitutes employment discrimination. So apparently there was a case in the court of Connecticut, and it was versus Bridebrook Health and Rehab Center versus Caitlin Knopfsinger. So Caitlin Knopfsinger worked at this place called Bridebrook, and she lost her job because she did not pass the pre-employment drug screening. So she didn't get the job. Now, she turned around and sued because she's a medical marijuana patient, okay? She turned around and sued them and said they were discriminating against because she disclosed that she was a medical marijuana patient. So
after she came up positive.
Yeah. So they discriminated. She says they were discriminating against her because she was a medical marijuana patient and did not give her the job. They said their defense was, no, we did not discriminate against her. We followed yes, we just did it because she tested positive. So apparently there was a whole back and forth in court, and the court actually sided with the medical marijuana user. So
the only thing I didn't like about it is I felt like they should have given her lawyer fees. I mean, this is a person who's applying for a job she doesn't have. You know what I'm
they
saying?
just made her spend over $10,000,
right, to get it.
Just for the right to have the job.
Exactly.
Actually, yeah.
And we appreciate you.
We do.
Mrs. Knopfinger?
Yeah, Knopfinger, yeah.
We appreciate you because, you're setting precedent. So bravo to you. And I know it was probably a lot.
It was a lot.
To expenses wise, and then, being in the public, letting everyone know that you're a medical marijuana user. So we applaud you and we appreciate you. And I believe that the judge should have given her her costs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
he
She should have
didn't.
been
Right?
able to walk out even.
Yep, she sure should have been.
Yeah, The question is, but they just gave her. They just ruled in her favor, right?
And just for clarification, the reason why the courts sided with her was because the defense was that they were following federal laws. Federal workplace drug in the workplace
Law,
laws
yeah.
only cover or primarily cover utilizing cannabis or any other
On
drug
the-
on
on
the
premises,
site.
correct.
Yeah, that's the only way. So they're trying to find these little loopholes
Mhm.
or
Right.
these little and interpret it in their own way to use as a reason to vilify and criminalize
Cannabis
and
users. Yeah.
cannabis users.
I would
It's
love to see. Do
ridiculous.
they test people if they're on opioids, or is that just fine? Your doctor prescribed whatever that stuff
If you
is,
test positive,
OxyContin.
if you test
Do
positive,
they even test?
They ask you for your
they ask
prescription.
you for your prescription. They will
So
pop.
there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There you
so
go. This the same,
it
should be
sh-
treated the
that's
same
why they want it.
way.
But it really shouldn't. Like, I would be more alarmed by someone who's
Using
working for
opioids?
Oh
me.
yeah.
Opioids.
yeah.
Number one, am I gonna have to keep Narcan by my
Yep.
side to keep
Yeah.
them alive? Like, am I gonna have to be,
This is true.
They come
Right,
performing
right. This is
CPR?
true. Right.
Like,
It can be
True.
as silly, and it can be as innocent as, did they come to work extra tired and not know that they took their pill in the morning and read up on their pill right when they came to work? Now they're not going to be productive for the entire
you
day.
said you mean take another pill?
Take another pill.
Re-up. Yeah,
yeah.
doubled up by accident.
They
Or,
doubled
you
up
know
by
what?
accident or whatever they
And
want to
who
say.
knows? If they could be abusers. Who knows what stage
Right.
they're
Right.
at? They could be
Right.
using 2-3 pills
Right.
when they're supposed to only be using one
Mm-hmm.
because their tolerance has gotten so high.
Yep.
Whereas somebody like you or I took that, we'd be on the floor.
I can't
I
do it.
can't
I
take
can't take them
at all.
Man.
I
Thank
know
God
firsthand
Yeah.
I
I'm the
can't.
same way. I can't.
Yep.
I don't touch them.
It just I
They
But
just don't agree with me.
Bravo to her, and,
Yeah,
and
I
thank
throw
you to
up
the
and-
courts for siding with her. But I mean, let's look at people in totality. Yes, they seem to have followed the measure of the law,
Yeah.
but there was damage done to this woman. Like
Mhm.
they didn't give her any money for I think
time
her-
without work.
Yeah.
She couldn't go get another job because when you're
'Cause she
suing a
was-
place, you're fighting for that job.
right.
She can't go out and get another job now. She's out all the money. This was a
Right.
private lawsuit, so it wasn't like somebody was sponsoring her.
Right. And I
Um,
think that she also or asked for damages because of like trauma
Yeah.
related
Right,
to
right,
all
right.
this, and she didn't receive that
She didn't
either.
get
And I
anything,
believe
pretty
that
much.
she's entitled
Yeah.
to that. Like,
You should have got. Do you know this company, Bridebrook? You're in the health industry now. You never heard of them?
Nah.
No.
If they are, I'm not gonna tell people to go there now.
No. Yeah, they obviously.
But I mean, there are agencies, and so this is a rehab center, so it's probably a
Mhm.
skilled nursing facility, or
Mhm.
whatever. There are assisted living facilities now contacting me. They want to put
Mhm.
cannabis protocols in place. They want us to, help with ease of certification for these people and teaching their staff. So
Mhm.
people are starting to think,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
especially in the
companies-
elderly community,
Yes.
end of life,
yes,
when people have Alzheimer's, people have
Yes.
cancer.
yes.
Yeah, they're starting to accept it more for that, and even for children.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that happened while we were off the air was that Connecticut finally approved all the new conditions that they approved a year and a half ago.
Right.
Finally put them in, and it's some good stuff for adults.
Mhm.
Fibromyalgia, a lot of people have that.
Mm-hmm.
Rheumatoid arthritis,
Mm-hmm.
facial neuropathic facial pain,
Mm-hmm.
shingles,
Mm-hmm.
migraines, and then for kids they did muscular dystrophy, and another thing called osteoporosis imperfecta,
Yeah, it's like
a very
brittle
rare
bone,
brittle bone in
disease.
kids. Yeah. So they,
That's
this
that
thing is
Mr.
good
Glass.
for Connecticut,
Mhm.
even though they were passed a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Finally, they'll be put in by the end of this month. This is going to increase. There's already 27,000 patients now.
Mhm.
Once they start approving these, you're going to probably see more patients from this. How many people you hear complain of fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis?
A lot.
Yeah, migraines,
Mhm.
huge, right?
And I've had to, we had to be creative, which I think is fine to say, like, because of the fact that chronic pain,
Mhm.
chronic issues like that lead to depression, anxiety.
Yes.
That it's a trauma.
Yeah.
Now
Yep.
your pain has become a trauma, so we've had to, diagnose people with PTSD when it's a migraine. Like a migraine
Yep.
that you've had all your life that is debilitating,
Yep.
keeping you from participating, giving you trauma.
Yep.
So we've had to. So now we can actually call it what it is and be able to medicate and treat people appropriately, effectively, and honestly.
Yeah, and then that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll probably get more patients, but so is the medical program.
Mm-hmm.
And here we're back again to
It'll be an easy 10% lift.
Yeah, and are we going to be able to handle the burden? Is not us, the program, going to be able to handle the burden of, say 10%, there's another 2,500 patients, 3,000 patients going to come in under this.
Right.
You know, and can the growers and the whole system handle it? I know they're opening more dispensaries, but I don't think the growers can handle it. I'm going to come flat out, growers. I'm going to call you out. I don't think you can handle it.
No, I agree.
I really don't.
And what are they going to do? Just keep adding space to it? They're not handling it.
I wanted to go to the dispensary. They didn't even have one strain that I liked. And I have 4 different strains that I usually go through for them.
Yeah.
None of them. Not a single one out of the 4.
Biscay?
No Biscay. No Aniva. Yeah, no Silver. None of the ones that I like. None of them.
And this is what you try to explain. Like when I'm talking to legislators about, like, you all need to force these grow facilities force the DCP to add more grow facilities. They don't understand. I'm trying to get them to understand, if you find a strain, that's your medicine.
That's right.
If you find a strain that works for you and then you can no longer access it, you don't have your medicine.
Yeah.
It could be up to 3
weeks.
2 weeks to 3 months.
And now you're just coping. So now it's not the Biscay, so I have to have the lemon haze or something. Now I got to substitute. Now I'm back into that what's going to work for me phase. Am I going to have to go trial and error again? It's like starting all over.
Yeah, this medical model is not, this pharmaceutical model here in Connecticut,
doesn't work.
It does not work.
It might work if they have more growers.
Yeah, it looks good on paper.
Home grow.
Yes, that's all they need.
Home grow.
Mm-hmm.
You get one patient and you know that you like Biscay and the Biscay works for your sciatic
pain some Biscay
or whatever.
Seeds or your clone.
You do your Biscay. That's it. Now you only have your strain there. Then you can still substitute with the dispensary.
Again, how's the growers going to make money off that? How's the
but you're
state
still going to go to the
money?
dispensary. You know you can't get Biscay.
You can't make your own concentrate, right?
No.
You know you're not going to.
No.
So you still got to go to the dispensary for something.
That dangerous plant that's sitting there is going to just destroy the world.
Yeah.
Because if you walk into a home still that's brewing homebrew beer, that could blow up. But your plant growing in some soil is going to demonize everything.
Yeah, and of course, because the country before 1937 was in such hell when cannabis was a medicine, right? The country was in such bad shape and the world was in such bad health when cannabis was a medicine, right? That we needed to ban it. We needed to get rid of it.
But there are so many people who wouldn't even bother with growing. They would still go to the dispensary.
I just want the right.
Exactly.
But that's my point. Like, they're acting as if they gave us grow rights, then no one would ever shop at a dispensary anymore. They wouldn't make any money. First of all, like, what are you more concerned about nowadays? The people who are dying out here from opioid overdoses and all this, the people who are suffering from pain and chronic illness, or are you concerned about them? Let's stop being.
And
so
has it hurt any of the other states? No. All the states with grow, has it hurt them?
They're doing better. Every last one of them.
All right, so let's get into the events real quick. We already talked about this weekend, Boston Freedom Rally from the 14th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's on Boston Commons. Kebra, you will be speaking Sunday
in the Educational Village. And that's where Normal will be set up, too. Right?
Yeah, I'll be there at the Educational Village. People can look for that. And there's also another thing at MGM Springfield, if you guys are interested in checking that out. That takes place Saturday and Sunday. It's called That Cannabis Show. So if people want to hang out in Massachusetts, you can go Saturday one day, Sunday the other.
Yep, I actually am hosting a main stage panel on Saturday at 10 a.m. on the medicine and science of cannabis for healthcare professionals and cannapreneurs. And I really feel like it'll be a great panel to sit in on, especially if you are working in the healthcare field, trying to find your way in cannabis. It'll be an excellent opportunity.
Well, there's two
and
things.
Then I'll actually be there between 2 and 5 at the This Cannabis Show auditioning, which is like the Shark Tank of cannabis for Pay and Toke for the websites and everything. So
nice.
Yeah, we're trying.
Very cool.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm leaving tomorrow to go down to Washington, D.C. for the Congressional Black Caucus.
Awesome.
And for the first time ever, they are having a conversation about cannabis during the CBC. And I'm going to be on a panel down there. and we're doing some really great events with minorities for medical marijuana. So like Michael Eric Dyson is going to come and speak at one of our events on Thursday evening. So I'll be down there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you're in Washington, in the DMV, come and hang with me.
All right. Before Harry cuts us off, I want to plug what we're doing. We're speaking about growing. We're doing on the 22nd, Saturday the 22nd, up at the Canna Health.
September 22nd.
Next door to the Canna Health office, we're going to teach cultivation class.
Commercial cultivation.
With Ellen Brown.
Ellen Brown.
All right, and we'll keep plugging that, but I wanted to make sure. Yeah.
And if you buy you get 2 people.
Refer 2 people.
Yep.
You get it
and
for
they
free.
pay for the class, you get it for free.
So hit us up. Hit up Canna Health on Facebook.
Love it.
Joe,
Thank you guys.
Productions@gmail.com.
Yes,
no, I gave him the wrong email. But anyway,
that's not it?
No, it's info@ctcanconsulting.com.
Okay.
There you go.
I have a separate email for the classes. And I put it out there. So anyway, we'll see you next week. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you all in Boston. We'll all be up in Massachusetts this weekend.
All right.
We'll see you then.
Hey.
Spell it backwards. I got green in the bay. My whole team Packers. Hold the plug, I need 100 pigs. And my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. And my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs. And my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Gucci slides with the G's while I'm selling pigs. Walking proof, money growing trees. Hit the plug, he gon' fly the gates. 100 P's, we supply the streets. Gelato cookies and that blue cheese.